Hi, my name is Shoma, the creative lead at Glory & Co. I want to tell you a little bit about Glory & Co. Glory & Co. is a linen-based African brand out of Lagos, Nigeria, which started from a personal need I had after taking this styling program. I had an overflowing wardrobe and I couldn't figure out what to wear. After this program, I figured that I needed to reset my wardrobe, but I struggled to find where to buy these pieces. I struggled to find where to buy these good pieces that was going to elevate my wardrobe. And this went on for several months until one day I said, what if I started a brand that had some of these pieces I wanted to wear? That was what inspired Glory & Co. And what started as an idea gave birth to Glory & Co. When we started, one thing that was important for me to do was to choose fabrics that were not just good, but fabrics that were natural based, right? And that was why I went with linen. As you get older, you are very careful about what you put on your skin. And we really wanted to make small batch dresses or small batch collection. And the primary goal behind that is really growing up, I didn't like what I was wearing, other people wearing it, right? I really believed in having a small batch collection, very functional to you to meet your wardrobe needs, right? The primary goal of the brand was to serve customers, people who had the same need that I had, people who were looking to elevate their style, people who were looking for a starting point of where to start in their styling journey, in their elegance journey, to cater to those set of people. What has inspired me over the years is, first of all, functional needs of dresses. I wanted pieces that I could wear for different things and for different occasions, pieces I could wear at home, pieces I could wear for occasions, and pieces that had a story. I love stories, I love movies, and movies inspire me a lot because it gives us an opportunity to vicariously live through the lead characters, and stories have inspired me. An example is the new collection we're launching on the runway, Heroines in Bloom. It's a common story seen in African folklore, but this is kind of my interpretation of it. It is a story of a young lady who was a princess in her town, and her father went out to war and never came back. Several months later, the town needed a queen, and the lady was crowned a queen. This collection is kind of my interpretation of how she assumed that role, because probably growing up thought she would be a princess and married of the town. How she assumed that role is really a story of a woman becoming layer by layer. It's kind of a personal story to me, because even as of last year, if you asked me if I would have a fashion brand, I would say no. I didn't premeditate this, right? But here we are. This is kind of a personal, unique story to me. Our process, I mentioned, we start with linen, and so Heroines in Bloom is also kind of bringing linen to the runway. But this collection, we've decided to, based on customers' feedback, to kind of explore other fabrics, right? But the ethos of our brand is to use fabrics that feel good on women's skin and are not harmful, right? I went back to my roots to kind of explore this, and I've been exploring it for a while. I loved motifs. Most times what inspired me is flower arrangement, but you know how difficult it is sometimes to print fabrics you want, especially from Nigeria. But that was what kind of moved me into the direction to look at existing prints. That's where I bumped into Akweti, and I've been looking at the fabric, and it's so fascinating. The weaving, the stories of the women who weave these dresses, what inspired them. Interacting with one of the ladies, we were asking how did she come up with the ideas. Sort of a story of how the Akweti was born, of how a woman in her dream was given the inspiration, and she did it hidden, right? And she never told people about it, and she never taught people. But one of her friends who usually visited her learned how to do it. But when the lady died, the friend that learned about it now eventually shared the skill with other women. That's a woman's story there. But then when we're asking the lady about what inspires the motif, because there are their poetic prints is really unique. There's raffia, there's natural fabric, but then there's also the motif, what inspires the motifs or the drawings in the dresses. And she talks about when she dreams, she's taken to this place where she sees fabrics and different motifs, and when she wakes up, she tries to sketch it. That's really a unique story there, and that's a story that resonated with me on how we are inspired by our dreams. Our imagination is really active, and most times we glean on this and tell those stories. If you are anywhere in Lagos on 5th July 2025, we would love to come and see you, see our interpretation of this Heroines in Bloom story. Thank you.